Well, hello, hello. It is Sunday night, and I got one of those pregnant cravings, even though I'm not expecting. But you know, that's when it hits you, when you least expect it. I was going to do a live this evening, but the internet was kind of not doing so well. I guess being Sunday and everybody being home, it always cuts it down, if y'all remember correctly. So I had wrapped this pie shell up and just stuck it in the freezer. If you remember, I baked this pie shell about a week ago, and then I had it sitting by the oven, and I dropped my big glass jar of Vietnamese cinnamon in it, and it broke. And you know me, Billie Jean just doesn't throw a thing away. So I said to myself, I'm going to do something with this pie. It may look like the Dickens, but my grandmother would roll over in her grave if she thought I was wasting a pie shell. So we've got this portion still okay, and this portion is still pretty good. It can be cut, and it just won't have the fluting on it, but that's fine. So tonight, my stomach got the best of me again, like it always does. So I'm going to make a chocolate meringue pie. Don't know if I'll get the meringue done. I probably will. Because you've got your eggs, you know, you got to separate, so you'll have the meringue. So let's just get to it and get this going. If you don't want to watch the whole thing, then, you know, you can always just fast forward. Just fast forward if you don't want to hear Billie Jean. So I'm going to put, instead of 3/4, I'm going to put a third and a third. I'm going to put a third of regular sugar. Just so I can have some creamy consistency. Then I'm going to take a sweetener and I'm going to put 1 teaspoon. Since this is stevia, which some of you told me one or two said you couldn't eat it, because I'm just going to put a teaspoon of that in, because you don't need a lot of stevia. If you buy the stevia powder, now that's the stevia powder. It doesn't have that erythritol stuff in it, okay? So then we'll get a third a cup of our old Hershey's cocoa powder. You want a third cup of your Hershey's cocoa powder. I probably don't have to measure that. I can probably eyeball it pretty good. Let me beat that down so I don't get chocolate all over the place. Alright, we'll measure it. I know y'all are saying measure it, so we know. Okay, we'll measure it. Tell you what I'm fixing to do. Let me get this done. So there's a third cup. So you'd be a third cup to each pie, you know. So if you're making 2, then you'd have to double, and so forth and so on. I decided, since I'm going to thicken this in the microwave instead of on the top, I'm going to go ahead and put my sugar. For you, it'd be 3/4 cup of sugar, and I'm going to put my 1/3 cup of chocolate down in there. Now let me get some cornstarch. Gotta have that cornstarch to thicken that up. So we'll do 1/4 cup of cornstarch. My grandmother's old measuring cup. I still use it. Yes, I do. I still use it. It's an old aluminum measuring cup. Since that spoon's already dirty, I'm not going to get a whisk. I'm just going to mix that together like that. Make sure you get that mixed up over there. Now I'm going to put, let's see, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, because it's sugar and sweet, so you got to have a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. That's about a pinch, a little more than a pinch. Then I'm going to take my cup, I'm going to get a 1/2 cup of milk to start out with, okay? I'm going to get just a 1/2 cup. Let me get my... Okay. 1/2 cup. About like that. 1/2 cup of milk just to start with. All together we're going to add 2 cups of milk. But for right now we're going to just add the 1/2 cup. We're just going to whisk that. I went ahead and got my whisk because I want to whisk that in your glass bowl. I get it off the sides as much as you can, your powder. Like get that smooth, you know, because you want that well combined. See how that's, oh, that's heavy. See, that's, you want to do that small amount of milk, then put your rest of your milk in there. This will get them any lumps out and that kind of thing. Okay, I want to get I'm putting my glass here, another 1.5 cups of milk. Not quite full, so I can put some heavy whipping cream in since that's 2% milk, because I want this creamy. Creamy. So I'll just improvise and pour this into my pie filling. Get my work cleaned up a little bit here. Now I'm going to whisk that pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to put that in my microwave. Easy. So let's just set this over here. I'm going to put this in the microwave for about 5 to 8 minutes. I'm going to stir halfway through, and I want this to get thick. Okay, that's halfway through. I'm going to stir that so it don't get stuck. Then we'll go ahead and put it back in. Okay, while I'm waiting on the microwave, I'm going to get my eggs and I'm going to separate them out so that I can I just use one of my little froggy things and I separate the yellows into that. I've got those egg separators, you know, but there's no sense in doing all that if I don't have to. Okay, let's check our filling now. Let's see. See how that's gotten thick? See how that's gotten thick there? Okay, let me get me a little bowl here. I'm gonna put my egg yellows into the bowl. Then I'm gonna take just a little dollop of that chocolate mix, and I'm gonna put it in with my eggs, just so they don't curdle. I'm gonna temper those. You want to whisk them kind of quick so they don't. Okay, see, those didn't scramble, so we're okay there. I'm going to stick that back in there. Chocolate mixture, and stir that around. Get that all stirred around there. I'm going to put it back in the microwave just for a minute to make sure it gets pretty thick. Won't take me but a minute. Okay, the pie is kind of cool in there. Got the chocolate in it, and there's a little piece of crust sticking out there, but that's probably going to be the best pie we ever ate. You just never know till you get it put together. But you know, Grandmother always said, sometimes she'd say, well, it looks like the dickens, but it's the best one I've ever made. So I'm trying to get the things, and now I had a little yellow in my egg white, so I'm going to revert to my meringue powder. I can use that even without, but I don't want to waste the egg whites, so I'm going to use the meringue powder. And for one egg, you use 2 teaspoons of meringue powder per egg. Okay, I went ahead and put, you can put your sugar in your egg whites, but the remaining 6 tablespoons, you do it 2 tablespoons at a time until those stiff peaks. And then I'm going to put in just a little more vanilla. Not a lot, just a hair of vanilla. Of my Mexican vanilla. And then I'm going to finish whipping that and see how they come out. Okay, that's all I'm going to beat those. I think they've they have been beaten enough, beaten enough. So let me get a spoon. I'm just going to take these. Let me get this out here in the middle, because I forget. I'm just going to layer that on top. pull that on around there. And you want to get this meringue down to the edge of that crust and seal it. So that when you put any kind of pie in there, get it down and seal the edges. Just get them over onto that crust. Even though ours is kind of a misfit crust, we're still going to put it down to the edge of it so that we can kind of swirl it. Kind of swirl it around. Now, I don't know if I can get all that. I'm going to try. At least most of it. So now I'm going to put that in our oven under broil. I want to bake that for about 8 minutes. You can put it on broil or you can bake. We'll just bake. We'll put it 375. I guess I've told y'all that. I don't know. But we'll start it and do confection, and then that'll kind of get that baked a little bit. Then I'll get the kitchen cleaned up and I'll be back. I think the meringue on the pie has got the tips brown, so we're going to take that out and I'll let y'all see. Let me open it and see. I can get this out without burning myself. You know, don't burn yourself. Do it, Gene. Okay. There we go. There we go. Now that meringue is not as high as I want, but I had to improvise with that meringue powder. But once that cools, that'll be a good pie and it'll taste good. So, wish y'all was here and you could have a piece of chocolate meringue pie with us. If you didn't like meringue, put you some whipped cream on it. Please do something. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.